How did a vast, carefully organized settlement system emerge deep within the dense Amazon rainforest, shaping rivers, forests, and soil for centuries, only to vanish so completely that it remained invisible for generations? At first, Kuhikugu seems impossible. From above, the forest stretches endlessly, a living ocean of green shaped by rain, heat, and slow decay. Canopies overlap, shadows drift across leaves, rivers wind quietly through narrow corridors. Nothing suggests that this landscape once held a network of planned communities and engineered spaces. And yet, beneath the trees, faint lines remain. Subtle ridges curve through the soil, broad circles rest beneath roots and fallen branches. Straight embankments trace paths no river follows. Shallow ditches collect rain where no natural stream flows. These are not accidents. They are patterns. They are fragments of deliberate design. Kuhikugu lies in the upper Xingu region of central Brazil, deep within the Amazon basin. This is a land of powerful cycles. Rain arrives in heavy seasons, rivers swell and retreat, floodplains shift, vegetation grows quickly and reclaims anything left unattended. Soil is thin and fragile. Without constant care, structures disappear within years. In such a place, permanence seems unlikely. Yet Kuhikugu endured. It was not a single city, but a connected system of settlements, plazas, and roads shaped into the earth itself. Circular villages linked by raised pathways, boundary ditches marking space, open areas preserved within dense growth, water guided where it was needed, movement directed along deliberate routes. Even now, centuries later, these forms appear faintly from the air, like shadows beneath leaves. On the ground, they are harder to see. Earthworks rise only slightly, ditches fill, edges blur, time smooths every surface. The forest works patiently, folding human designs back into its own rhythms. No stone monuments stand here, no towering walls remain. Kuhikugu was built from earth, wood, and living systems, materials meant to bend rather than resist. And still, its scale challenges expectation. Why did such complexity emerge here? What sustained it? And why did it fade so quietly? The forest offers no immediate answers, it only waits. To understand Kuhikugu, the forest must be seen as a shaped landscape rather than an untouched one. What appears wild is, in many places, carefully guided. The land rises gently above floodplains, settles into shallow basins, and follows slow-moving rivers that expand and retreat with the seasons. During heavy rains, water spreads across low ground. During dry months, it withdraws, leaving fertile edges behind. Kuhikugu occupied this shifting boundary between stability and change. Its settlements were placed on slightly elevated ground, safe from flooding, yet close to water for transport and cultivation. Circular plazas formed the heart of each community. Around them, raised platforms supported dwellings. Beyond these centers, defensive ditches and embankments marked outer limits, blending into the terrain rather than standing apart from it. Straight roads connected one settlement to another. These were wide, leveled corridors built above surrounding soil, allowing movement even when rain softened the ground. Their alignment reveals planning across distance, linking separate communities into a unified system. The soil itself tells another story. Patches of unusually dark, fertile earth appear around Kuhikugu. These enriched soils were formed gradually through controlled burning, composting, and careful layering. Over time, land that was naturally poor became highly productive. Water management extended beyond rivers. Small canals redirected heavy runoff. Shallow reservoirs stored rain. Drainage channels protected plazas and dwellings from erosion. Each feature was modest, but together they formed a responsive network. Growth here was slow and layered. New earthworks followed older patterns. Roads extended in measured directions. Settlements spread evenly rather than clustering tightly. The landscape became a constellation of linked centers. What stands out is consistency. Across wide areas, the same circular layouts, radiating roads, and boundary ditches repeat. This reflects shared standards maintained over generations. But such coordination raises deeper questions. What sustained cooperation across distance? What ensured constant maintenance in a land that erodes so quickly? The answers remain written only in soil and shadow. As Kuhikugu developed, its landscape grew more refined through steady repetition rather than sudden change. Roads were reinforced, ditches were cleared, plazas were reshaped, embankments were repaired again and again, protecting them from rain and encroaching vegetation. Over time, this created a rhythm of renewal embedded in the land itself. Within each settlement, space was carefully balanced. Central plazas remained open and clear, forming calm, visible centers. From these circles, roads extended outward like spokes, guiding movement between neighboring communities. The layout encouraged connection without crowding, allowing the system to remain distributed instead of concentrated. Life unfolded within this framework of paths, gardens, and managed forest. Useful plants were encouraged near dwellings. Orchards blended into surrounding growth. Clearings shifted gently with the seasons. The boundary between settlement and wilderness was never fixed. It was shaped through long observation and adjustment. This approach created resilience. Rather than clearing large areas permanently, Kuhikugu relied on selective shaping. Forest cover remained largely intact. Soil stayed protected from erosion. Wildlife corridors continued. The environment was not replaced, it was reorganized. Evidence suggests that Kuhikugu was part of a wider regional network. Similar settlement patterns appear across much of the Upper Xingu. Design features repeat across distant sites. This points to shared knowledge and ongoing communication. Yet the system remained decentralized. No single center dominates. No monumental structure rises above the rest. Authority, if present, appears woven into routine rather than architecture. Coordination depended on habit, memory, and shared responsibility. This quiet complexity challenges familiar ideas of urban development. Here, order was spread across miles of subtle earthworks rather than concentrated in monuments. Later layers reveal subtle strain. Some roads were less carefully maintained, certain ditches filled more quickly. Vegetation advanced along outer edges. These changes are small but meaningful. They suggest that the rhythm of renewal was beginning to weaken. In its final centuries, Kuhikugu appears to have entered a period of quiet transformation. The change did not arrive suddenly. There is no clear evidence of destruction, no widespread burning, no sharp break in occupation. Instead, the landscape suggests slowing rhythms. Maintenance became less consistent. Some raised roads softened, boundary ditches filled more quickly. Plazas remained, but their edges grew less defined. In a rainforest environment, even small lapses carry lasting consequences. Without regular clearing, vegetation advances rapidly. Without repair, earthworks erode. Without coordination, pathways dissolve into forest floor. Kuhikugu's system depended on steady renewal. When that renewal weakened, the land began to reshape itself. Environmental pressure may have played a role. Subtle shifts in rainfall could have altered flooding patterns. Extended wet seasons may have damaged embankments. Drier periods may have strained managed soils. In a system built on balance, even modest changes could ripple outward over time. Connections across the wider network also appear to have loosened. Some settlements show reduced activity earlier than others. Roads between centers were not renewed at the same pace. Movement became less predictable. The web that once held the region together slowly thinned. Social rhythms likely shifted as well. A landscape sustained through shared practice requires continued participation. When fewer people returned to maintain ditches, clear paths, and tend soils, the system did not collapse. It gradually faded. Over generations, the forest closed in. Roots lifted embankments, leaves filled canals, rain softened raised roads, plazas returned to clearings. Kuhikugu was not destroyed. It was absorbed into the cycles that had always surrounded it. Today, its presence survives as faint geometry beneath towering trees. Rings and lines still appear from the air. Gentle rises and shallow depressions remain on the ground. The land remembers, even when the forest conceals. And so the original question returns: how did such an extensive system emerge in this environment, and why did it dissolve so quietly? The traces suggest an answer shaped by patience, cooperation, and deep understanding of living landscapes. They also remind us how fragile such balance can be. If this journey through Kuhikugu has stayed with you, you're welcome to continue exploring these quiet ancient places. And what do you think allowed a forest society like this to endure for so long?